Here's a quick how-to on editing sports carts. There is more detailed information on a video that I made, I think, before you even switched to Audio Vault. I made kind of an introduction to this record play screen, and that is in the YouTube playlist, the KYDT instructional videos playlist, along with how to schedule automated sports games and a bunch of other stuff like that. You can do editing of the sports carts on any of the record play screens. So you've got one in the KYDT studio, you've got one in KBFS as well, and I'm in KBFS just so I'm out of the way of anybody working in the FM studio right now. You can do this during a game too. If you have a game running over here on this screen and you notice that there's a problem with the cart, you can push F12, come over here, make your changes, save them, and then when you flip back over here and take your next break, it will reload that cart and you'll have your changes made. The carts, of course, are in the parentheses, not on this screen. I don't have them in here because we aren't doing AM-specific games right now. But on your FM screen, of course, you've got your, in parentheses, the cart numbers in there. They're also in your sports macros text file on the desktop. The FM one has a lot more stuff in here because all of the information on the automated satellite games is in this text file as well. But here's your sponsor carts. But you pretty much know these anyway. So let's go ahead and look at the Hewlett cart. So let's push F12, flip over here to your record screen. You can click the load button or push F9 and type in HSP. And you can see right now we're looking at just an empty list. But if I click expand here, we are now looking at cart HSP. And this is what's inside that cart. These are the spots that rotate when you take a break for Hewlett. And this is the order that they play in. So here is where you can make sure you don't have two competitors' spots back to back so they don't play in the same break. This is the order they play in. Of course, it rotates through all of these. When it gets down to the end of the list, it rotates back up to the top. So let's go through the things you can do inside this cart. If you wanted to remove something from it, your standard cut, copy, paste keyboard shortcuts work. That's Alt-X, Alt-C, Alt-V, cut, copy, paste. You can also do that from the contents menu. Here's cut line, copy line, paste line. So let's say we wanted to remove this W bar feed spot out of here. You just select it, either click cut line or Alt-X, and it is now out of that cart. But you do have to save the cart. Whenever you make any changes to a cart or any type of list, you have to save those changes. You can see here if I click done and go back to this menu, our load button is now gray, indicating that we've made changes to that cart. But that menu isn't always up there, so it's not always reminding you that you've made changes. Just get into the habit of either clicking the save button here or pushing F10. I just push F10 because you don't have to worry about finding the menu. F10, anytime you make any changes to a cart, and that will save it. I'm going to go ahead and click abandon. That reverts it back to the previously saved version. So now you can see W bar feed is back in there. If I Alt-X this and push F10, now if I load HSP and expand it again, HSP, expand, you can see W bar feed is not going to be in here. But I can come down here, I can Alt-V and paste it back in. And now you can see I've made changes to this cart. Push F10 to save it. Just get into the habit. I always just push F10, F9, backspace, enter. That way you've saved the cart and you clear your deck out. You're not leaving stuff up on the screen that you're not working with anymore. F10, F9, backspace, enter is just a good habit to get into anytime you do anything on this screen. Let's go ahead and push F9 again. Let's go back into HSP, expand it, and let's look at what other things we can do here. If we want to insert a spot that isn't in this cart, but of course the spot exists in the system, we can decide where we want to insert it by selecting it. It inserts after the currently selected line. And then we can hit Control Insert or come up here and Insert Line. So let's do that. Let's Control Insert, and let's say that BN Doors wasn't in there. We just type in the number for it, 56531. Hit OK or click Enter or push Enter, and now you can see BN Doors is inserted in here. Of course, now it's in here twice. You can do this intentionally. Let's say that you wanted BN Doors to play twice as often as all of the other spots. Well, you've just accomplished that because every time it plays, for every one time it plays W bar feed, it's going to play two BN Doors here. So if you wanted to give a client extra plays, if they're paying more for more spots or something, you can just insert it in the cart more than once. You can do that also with your copy and paste. We can come down here and we can Alt-C to copy. We can Alt-V to paste it. It's going to play twice back to back there, not necessarily what you'd want to do. Let's just Alt-X that. Let's come up here and Alt-V it here. So you can copy and paste spots to get them to play more than once. If you wanted to modify this spot to something else, if you wanted to get rid of Blakeman Propane and replace it with another spot, Control Y, or click Modify Line, type in the cart number for the other spot you wanted to put in here, click OK, and it'll change that to something else. We can go ahead and do that right now, I guess. Let's just go ahead and let's say we wanted to change this to range. So let's put 37531, and you will see that this Blakeman propane will change to range now. I'm just going to go ahead and abandon that. We don't want to actually save those changes there. You can put carts inside of carts. You can see right here where it shows cart. Newcastle Motors is a cart, so you can have rotations inside rotations, nested rotations. That way, I think Nyman Enterprises is also, is this Nyman? Yeah. Nyman Enterprises has 4 or 5 spots that they're running, but rather than stick all 4 or 5 of them in here and have them play 4 times as often as everybody else, you just make a cart out of that and stick that cart inside this cart. And that way, every time it comes through and plays it, it just rotates through the Nyman spots every time. We can look at what's inside there by clicking it, hitting load and expand. This is what's inside the Nyman cart. So it's rotating through all of these as a sub-rotation inside HSP. Let's load HSP back, expand it, look at what's in here again. That's the basics of editing the sports carts. If the spot doesn't exist, of course, you have to record it first. You can record it directly into the cart. You can click record, fill in your stuff here, and just record it, and it will automatically add it into the spot here. Like if I'm recording this spot right here, it is now inside the cart. I do have to save it, of course, to make those changes happen, but you can record a spot directly in like that. I'm just going to go ahead and get rid of this. F8, delete, and yes, and that gets rid of that spot. Let's just go through the other items here I haven't already talked about. That is auto start and next error. These are 2 things you won't typically use for sports carts, but I'll show you what they do since they're up here on the screen. What auto start does is it links something to something else. So you can see when I click it, a little plus sign appears here. It has now linked this pre-corp spot to the W bar feed. If I click on the W bar feed now, you can see I've got a minute of total duration here. It's these 2 spots together. If I play this, you see the little green line right there? It goes ahead and plays the W bar feed spot, and then as soon as that is done, let's just skip ahead here a little bit just to save some time. When the W bar feed spot is done, it will go ahead and automatically play the pre-corp spot as well. It's basically linked these 2 together, and it's treating them as if they were one spot. You can see now it goes down and plays the pre-corp spot. You can link multiple spots together as well. I can click this and link all 3 of those together. Not typically something you would do in a sports cart. The only situation I could see where you might want to do that is, let's say you've got 2 15-second spots, and you wanted to just keep all these as 30s, and you can play them back to back as a 30. So you would link those 2 spots together. Every time it plays the first one, it goes ahead and plays the second one, and then it would rotate down to the next spot. So if it's going through this cart and you're playing these breaks, it would go ahead and play these 2 as if they were one spot, and then the next time you take a break, it would play this range. So that's what the auto start does. Not something you would typically use inside of sports carts, but it is there. Next error is designed to find something that's either outdated or missing in a cart. In carts like this where you don't have a whole lot, you can just scan through it pretty quickly. But let's say you were looking at like the Denver Broncos format. Let's just go ahead and do that real quick. I'm just going to load DB format here. This is all the local breaks for the Broncos games. You can see there's a lot of stuff in here. If we had an error in there, like a spot that was missing or outdated, the next error would quickly go through and find them. Let's just demonstrate that. I'm going to go ahead and bring up HSP again and expand it. Let's just outdate one of these spots. You don't really use kill dates, despite my recommending you do it. There was actually a YDOT spot that I heard during one of the NFL games that was talking about Sturgis Week. Might be a good idea to put a kill date on spots like that so they don't play when they're not supposed to, and they show up as errors, and they will let you know. Just a suggestion, just to prevent old stuff from playing. Anything that's time sensitive like that, like Christmas ads, I would put a kill date of 12/25 on them, just in case you forget to take it out. It's not going to keep playing. Let's just go ahead and do that. Let's just make this spot outdated. Let's go ahead and put a kill date of yesterday in there. So now 1/14/25, this spot is going to be outdated. You can see it's showing up as an error now. Even though the spot is there, it can't play it because it's outdated. And if we were trying to find that spot in our cart, we can just go ahead and click next error, and it's going to jump right down to it. And so you could fix that error, click next error, and it would jump down and find whatever else is left. So that's a quick way to locate problems in your carts. Just clicking next error jumps you down to a spot that has a problem in it. I'm just going to go ahead and remove that kill date out of there, and now the spot is okay to play. If I click next error now, it's not going to find anything. I'm just going to go ahead and, actually I didn't make those changes. I just put it back to how it was, so I don't have anything to save here. But always get into the habit of pushing F10, F9, backspace, and enter when you're done working with carts. That way things are saved and you don't forget to save your changes. That is a quick look at how to modify sports carts. Again, the Audio Vault record play screen video that I did before we even switched over to Audio Vault has a little more information on how to record spots in. I think you kind of already maybe know that stuff, talking to Andrea, depending on what Carl has showed you, that information you may already have. But that video is in there as well if you wanted to get more information on that. But this is the basics of editing sports carts.